Welcome to episode 2 of Indie Wrestling is Dead. I'm Andrew Bowers, owner, promoter, booker of North Wrestling. With me is commentator, vibe creator, announcer extraordinaire, Cultaholic's own Tom Campbell.
I have created plenty of vibe in my time.
And the man in gorilla position at North Shows, you might now know him as James. I know him more formally as Mr. DJ Chop. It's Chop.
Oh. Hello.
Indie.
Dead.
Well, how we doing, lads?
Smashing. I'm having a lovely time.
I think the first show we've done went pretty well, actually. We got
Yeah.
a really nice response from it.
We said, I think we got a lot of lovely reactions. So thank you very much for listening.
we did.
Much appreciated.
Got a lot more listens than we thought. I thought we'd get maybe about 20. I think we got about 23.
Yes!
No, we did. We actually
Big time,
we got
baby.
legitimate listens, and we know that some of your favourite wrestlers are actually listening to this now as well. Right, so what have you guys been up to since the last Indie Wrestling is dead?
I've just been working MEW shows. Done a couple. We've done one literally the day after we recorded, and then I've just done one Sunday gone. Whenever this is listening,
Chop just won the heavyweight championship of the world.
brother.
He was in the main event.
You got Goldie.
Yeah, that's all I've been doing. What have you been up to, Tom?
I was at the same main event wrestling
yeah?
show as yourself.
Right, oh, yeah,
You were
you
there.
were.
I'm knocking about. I had a nice chat with Paul London the other day.
I saw that.
He's a good egg.
I was extremely... I've tried to book Paul London about 2 or 3 times.
I've got his number now if you want to give him a call.
Well,
Name drop.
the first time I tried to book him, I think it was on Target in Carlisle. So sent him a message and said, Paul, it'd be lovely if you wanted to come over to Newcastle. It's not that far. We had the show the day after. He then sent somebody at Target saying, who's this guy from North Wrestling? Is he dodgy? Is he trying to jump in on free flight shirt?
I mean, that's a good shout, to be fair. And Target hopefully went, yes, he's incredibly dodgy.
Well, I haven't booked him yet, have I?
Keep distance.
He's not been booked yet,
That's
so.
a good shout. Yeah, so got to hang out with Paul London for a bit. He was good fun. Got to hang out with Joe Hendry the other day for Cultaholic. He was
And
good
his
fun.
dog.
And his dog Gromit, who was adorable.
Excellent.
Love Gromit. How about you? What have you been doing, Mr. Bowers?
I have been frantically trying to book this show and basically pulling my hair out. I think you got a Progress show at the same time. You got a Ring of Honor show in Bolton at the same time.
Is that why you're wearing a hat so you can't see your ball?
Yeah, well, it's got worse and worse and worse. I know. I was on a stag do last weekend, so as a man of my age, it's just destroying myself. We've got an ICW show at the same time as well. You've got 2 title shows at the same time.
Of course, there's 2 title shows.
One's a no rope show as well. I feel like the no rope show is that just like we'll do half the setup, do a show, do the rest of the setup.
I often think to go behind the curtain on this. Remember that night we had Rampage versus Screwface in the main event, and it was last man standing. A phenomenal match you can watch on the pivot chair. But there's a point in that match where they start like stripping away the mat and stuff. So Screwface is going to drop Rampage, and I'm thinking fair play. These two are absolute pros. They put on a hell of a main event. They've put on one incredible performance that's capped up people from the very beginning, and they found a way to start taking the ring down before the show's finished.
If you look at how he deals with some of the foam, though, I'm not going to say whose ring it is, but when you see him rip some of that foam off, I remember watching that back and thinking,
This is going to cost us.
he's not going to be happy with that.
Maybe they just want to get the after party quicker.
Do you know what? There's more than likely that is the case. So there's a lot of shows happening.
There's a lot of shows
this
happening
coming
this
Sunday,
time, so
this
it's
coming
been
weekend.
an absolute bloody nightmare to book. But I think we've got a really strong card, which we'll talk about in a little while. Quickly going back though, I think there's a bit on Paul London that we haven't quite mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Why is Paul London in Darlington?
Just for a laugh. He's promoting a movie he's in. It's a self-funded movie, not by Paul, but by the writer-director, whose name is James Campbell. No relation. The movie's called Tiger Man, and I'm fascinated by the concept.
I honestly can't wait to see this film.
Right, so it is based on the Elvis song Tiger Man, and it's set in a parallel universe where Elvis Presley is a karate crime fighter. What? Putting it out there into the world.
Mate, that sounds...
There it is.
Paul London.
And Paul London as Elvis.
Is Sharknado not coming out this year?
From the people that brought you Sharknado. One of the questions I pitched them, you can watch our interview on the Cultaholic YouTube channel today, in my series Desert Island Graps, which is like Desert Island Discs, but a rip-off.
I like that.
But I actually posed the question, was this an idea that you had in the pub? because it does. Because I always seem to remember one night, me and my brothers.
And have you got yourself back home from the pub yet?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it, we'll fucking do it. Don't worry.
I remember pitching with my brothers. We got several drinks in, and we were pitching Jeff Capes, the shot putter, to be a Spider-Man villain.
Jeff Capes. Nobody mentions Jeff Capes anymore. At the age of 6 years old, he genuinely was the man who I used to say at school when people say, "Who is your hero?" Jeff Capes. Why? Because he's the strongest man in the world.
Who is your dad? Jeff Capes. That's it. Well, I'm glad that we. Do you know what? I love how in touch with the younger fan base we are. Just to break down for a good minute.
I'm the same age and I haven't got a fucking clue.
You know who Jeff Capes
no,
is?
I do not.
Jeff Capes
not know
is literally the strongest man that's ever lived.
Jeff Capes, the shot putter. Big Jeff Capes, who used to throw.
Mark Henry's the strongest man in the world.
Nah, mate, Jeff Capes would kill him.
Mark Henry's American though. Jeff Capes is fucking
Jeff
British.
Capes is sexual white chocolate.
Are you two lying about your age and you're actually older than me? Maybe in your 40s or something.
I feel like it.
I'm tipping towards that way.
Yeah, I'm not too far off it. Anyway, right, okay, yeah. So Paul London's doing that film.
So that's why he was indicted. He was promoted. He was doing an audience with type thing as a part of. It's part of the backing thing they did for the GoFundMe.
Our pals Grapple Arcade, I think, were there as well.
Yes, I think they were. I'm pretty sure the guy from there was hosting it. So he was in the area. So they messaged and said, "Paul's at the Road in Darlow. You've been promoting our thing. We appreciate it. Do you want to chat with him for a bit? We'll bring him in." And he was brilliant. Honestly, it's one of them things where you go. I remember, like, I'm very blessed to be sort of living out a lot of like 10-year-old Tom dreams in 2019, where it's like, do you remember watching Paul London on the telly? I was more than 10 when I watched Paul London on the telly.
I was 19.
I was very old. But I remember watching him, and then suddenly there we are having a chat. Like, I'm very blessed.
London and Kendrick were like they were they were everyone's favourites. Like maybe not so much underdogs, but they were the ones.
Did they have hand-me-down shorts?
I can't even remember now.
They always were like
really
shorts,
like really baggy shorts.
They must have forgot the PE kit that day and they just got what was left.
That's it. And I think they were like the last of the pleather wearers. the
last of the pleathers. Brian Kendrick in real life is really grumpy.
Oh, is he?
Tells a great story on the podcast.
And
you can go and find it there, where Paul London talks about how grumpy Brian Kendrick is on tour. Yeah.
I want to listen to that. Also, is that not just because they are just massive weed smokers?
I mean, there is probably an element of that as well.
When I used to smoke weed at uni, I was really grumpy.
We did a show at ICW did a few years ago. I'm sure I was drunk one night with Drew.
Oh, Paul London.
That was. Do you know what? True story.
That
was the night. That was the night where he met James Campbell, and that was the night that they pitched Tiger Man.
Can you remember what can you
remember
remember what Paul London did?
Actually, I know some of it.
Can you remember what Paul London did? He did a top rope teabag in that match. He got his nutsack out off the top rope.
Yes, he did.
And teabagged. Was it Mike Renfrew or something like that at ICW? It was
I
somebody.
was so drunk that night.
And wasn't he dressed as? Isn't this like during his like space adventure man astronaut times?
Yeah, intrepid traveller type thing. He used to come out in like a big jumpsuit, didn't he?
Fucking brilliant, isn't it? And well, he's not booked for the next show, so
No teabagging for us.
no teabagging for us.
No tea bags at the Riverside. What did you do that night, Chop?
I can't tell you that.
Can you not say? Are there
I'll
legal?
get so many people in trouble if I
How many years ago was it? Not enough years ago.
4 maybe, but
Definitely
Well,
not.
it's fine because after 50, it becomes public public rights.
4 years though, knowing a Chop's familial status, it's definitely not long enough ago.
write it down. NCL 50 preview show. I will tell you.
Sunday. Oh, I'd say Sunday. I'm not drinking on Sunday, but I will write it down so you'll
I mean,
tell
you
me.
definitely tell us once we press stop on this, though, just to remind me to say. Anyway, a quick mention for our sponsor and ally on the front line of Britrest, Grapple Clothing. Their fall 19 tees are out now, made with organic cotton, which is bloody lovely for the environment. You'll spot Grapple Clothing at the North merch stand and generally plastered all over our social media outlets, purely because we love them and we love working with them so much. In fact, if you keep your eyes on grappleclothing.co.uk, our North collaboration t-shirt will be available to purchase. It's supposed to be at the start of October, in November. You can come to our next show though, and you can get the latest collaboration, the yellow t-shirts, which are lovely. You can get them exclusively on Sunday.
I love Grapple Clothing so much they legitimately broke my heart the other week
what happened?
because I'm with WrestleCrate, Use the code Mr. Campbell 10, you get an ice free.
So many puns.
The t-shirts that come with them are amazing, and they're in my normal size. So the size is good, the material's lovely.
Yeah.
But because I've got a bit fat around my belly, they don't fit as nice as they used to. So I've been too scared to wear them on Cultaholic yet, because like I just look.
You do sit behind the desk though.
I know, but as soon as I lean back to laugh, like
worse.
everything is on show. All skills are on show. But I've got a wonderful, and it's I've got a few items of clothing which are like target clothing, like inspirational clothing, thin inspirational clothing, if you will, that I'm keeping so that when I'm back to the way I want to be, I can walk into town in my Von Erich family world class t-shirt. I can walk into town with my Jay Roberts Trust to Me t-shirt.
I just want one of the tracks just so I can go to the gym and just don't do anything. I'm part of that, you know what I mean? Just not doing any sort of physical activity in the gym and just like, I'm part of the Grapple crew.
Sitting there with a Bud Light.
Yeah.
Those jackets are quite excellent though.
You see the pants as well, though, the match. Oh,
they've got pants.
They've got the
I didn't know
tracksuit,
they had
the
pants
match.
now.
Oh, it looks lush, man.
I just don't think I could pull that off.
But you do look like a massive mock, don't you? If you come in like the full tracksuit, full t-shirt.
But maybe because we work on the show, we would look all right in just full Grapple clothing. Just all of the stuff that...
North tracksuits.
Fucking hell, it's just another expense that's just gone into my mind. Anyway, right. Question from Amy Baker, which I'm going to put to the whole table here. What type of gimmick match would you like to see be booked in North? Now, I've already done a cans on a pole match between Martina and Danny O'Doherty. Now, that is dream booking right there.
Oh, mate.
Mr. Campbell, are you going to go first?
Inferno match, because there's a few members of the audience that could probably... No, I'm kidding.
We got rid of them.
I'm kidding. Oh, they're gone now. Okay. I'm kidding. Not an Inferno match. No, not in that venue. I would... Okay, it's... Slight cliche, but I'd like... Well, it's two. It's slight cliche. I'd like to see a ladder match. Mm-hmm. I think the venue lends itself potentially to stringing something up from the ceiling. And I think you know what, there's been bigger stunts than falling off a ladder, surely, in the Riverside.
I think so. You could almost fall off the ladder onto the balcony.
You could jump off the balcony onto the ladder. Lads, get on it. Robbie X, I'm looking at you, mate. Also, more conventional. A 60-minute full-fat Ironman match.
Wow.
Full-fat 60-minute Ironman match. Ooh. I think in that venue with that crowd, they would eat it for an hour. And I would too, as a fan.
I'm into that because that means I have to book about 3 less matches.
There you go. Well. It's good for the pocket. 30-minute Ironman match. Two absolute units who can go. Yeah. Looking at you, Robbie X. Robbie X getting some love this time. But two guys who...
Benji.
Benji, get amongst it. Two guys with the conditioning. 2 guys or 2 girls with the conditioning to go 30 minutes. To go 60 minutes. Make it an hour.
Fuck it, let's make it 2.5 hours with an interval.
So what? That's the cheapest show you've ever booked. But I'd like to see that, an Ironman. I'd like that for an Ironman.
That'd be an interesting question, though. If for one show, if I had booked a 2.5 hour marathon Ironman match, and the budget's bigger now for that, because I'm only booking 2 people. Who would be the 2 people? I could book fucking anyone. 2 people. Come back to that if you need to. But I think I would probably book Xeonox.
Nice.
I don't know. That's an interesting. I'm going to put that one out to the Twitterverse. If I was to book a 2.5 hour Ironman match,
if you could book
2
anyone.
people that need it. Obviously, when you're booking a show, you've got to have some people in there that draw a crowd. You've got to have some people there that you're building. You've got to have some younger people in there. You've got to have your favourites in there. So really, if I was to take out all of that and I could only have 2 people for 2.5 hours, anyone who's active.
Okay, right. Geordie Ironman match.
Yeah, that's what I know where you're going with this, and I think it's exactly the same.
Pack and HT Drake.
Oh, Pack and HT Drake.
Pack and Drake.
I was going to say Screwface, but I like that better.
Screwface be good, but I think as well. But I think with Drake is a guy who the company is built on the back of. He is your ultimate Geordie. Your Geordie Bellwether.
He might be a prick. 21 shows he'll have wrestled in a row.
There you go.
Never missed a show.
Then the more reason. Like, he's the gatekeeper of Northeast wrestling. So I think the story tells itself about how this guy has become this wrestling machine. He's the gatekeeper of the Northeast. Whoever comes to the gates of the Northeast has to see him. And who turns up at the gates than the guy who left through the gates a few years before?
I'd bloody love to book Pack. I keep that.
And if it's think about it. If you're doing a 60-minute Ironman match, and so that's taken up the entire second half of the show, it's going to be a cheaper show.
It's going to be a cheaper show.
And a bastard of a match.
I mean, the first
It'd be
half,
amazing.
the first half is going to be a Royal Rumble. And
With two people.
it's going to be me, Tom, and Chop. And I'll be, who the hell can try and get over that top rope?
It's a special, instead of fans bring the weapons, it's a special weapons bring the fans match.
What's the three of us struggle to get over the top rope?
Write that down for question and all.
Chop, what type of gimmick match?
Well, I would love the blue cage from WWE back in the day. But
Blue Bar Cage.
I'm a massive ECW mark, and I would love a proper old school barbed wire match.
Barbed wire match. I mean, death
Not that
matches
front row. Everyone's getting...
I wouldn't want a death match.
We'd have to give
because
everyone...
death matches mean everyone's going to fall from bloody 60 foot, stupid CCW
Death matches
stuff.
are weird ones,
But
like.
if you can work a match where it's just purely the gimmick of the barbed wire, trying to avoid it, finally, eventually, after all this time, they get hit with the barbed wire and the blood starts coming. You only use the barbed wire, you don't use extra gimmicks and all this shit. I think it would be perfect. If you look back at the Terry Funk Sabu match that had with the barbed wire, I thought that was perfect. We'll have something similar to that in North. I would love that.
Yeah, I like that.
We'll do a special deal. Floor seats come with a free hepatitis shot.
I'd have to book Sabu for it or something like that, wouldn't I? He's another one I've got close to. I've got Terry Brunk DMs on my phone.
Oh,
Very scared.
Terry Brooks sliding into DMs.
Just got really scared and didn't book him.
You are scared.
I've worked gorilla for a Sabu match.
I know, yeah.
I worked Sabu for a gorilla match. I don't even know what that means.
I'm trying to think what I would have had as my gimmick match.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've already booked my dream one, which is cans on a pole. I think probably a bra and panties match. No.
Between Ben Deacons and
I honestly, yeah, I think it would be something in a ladder match would be awesome, or like a Money in the Bank type ladder match thing. I think that's what we would go
Would you
for.
go to a cage?
I'd love to have the blue cage is like iconic for my. I remember watching the Hulk Hogan. What were the Hulk Hogan videos? You know, was it Silver Vision?
Silver Vision.
Coliseum.
Coliseum. That's the Coliseum videos.
Silver Vision was the UK who issued them.
I think
they were made by Coliseum.
I think Silver Vision took over from Coliseum years. I don't know.
And I think there was the best of Hulk Hogan one.
There was a Hulkamaniac one.
And it was. I remember watching. That was like my first entry.
Was that the
into
Hogan
wrestling.
Boss Man one?
That's the one.
That was a
the one.
match that brought me into wrestling. Pretty
Was
much.
that
That's
where
the
what's
one.
his face turns up at the end? What's he called?
Hakeem.
No. He had the movie for No Holds Barred.
Zeus.
Don't think
No.
This
He attacked Hogan at the start of the
This was
match.
pre-WrestleMania 3.
It was. This was
And
like
it was-
pure just Boss Man Hogan.
Boss
wasn't
Man
it?
had his biggest in terms of size. Hogan had his biggest in terms of credibility, and Hogan did a superplex off the top of the cage onto Boss Man, and they both were dead for an hour. Like they just lay there. You thought they died.
Yeah. Was there blood in that match as well?
I think
Boss
Boss
Man.
Man.
Yeah, I
Boss
think
Man
it was,
bled.
yeah. And I remember watching that as a 5-year-old kid and going, or however old I was, and going, oh my God. So the blue cage, I think, you stole it off me. But yeah.
Well,
I
you're similar because I had a Coliseum video one which was called Wrestling Superstars.
think I had that one as well.
And in that one was Roddy Piper and Rick Rude, blue cage in Madison Square Garden. Wasn't the first match on that video.
Rick
The first match,
bloody Rude.
which is the first match I've ever watched it as a wrestling fan, was Demolition versus the Powers of Pain with Mr. Fuji.
Ah, God, yes.
WrestleMania. But that was like the first video, and I could recite everything Jesse Ventura said because it's the first thing I ever seen.
I'm going to go watch some Coliseum videos.
They're all on the network as well.
Are they?
The whole lot of them are on the network.
Because I think, yeah, there was plenty that I had.
I
Right,
like
anyway.
a good Coliseum video exclusive. With Lord Alfred Hayes.
Yes.
When he does that, and he goes, I'm backstage in the dressing room of Hulk Hogan, and Hogan will just recite exactly what he said in the promo 10 minutes
you know what you
before,
remember when he used to
but
put
it's a
the-
Coliseum exclusive.
Have you ever listened to Wrestle Me, who are the Wrestle Me podcast? They're on our canvas. They've got a spot on there.
Oh, yes.
And they are huge Lord Alfred Hayes fans. They brought out a T-shirt where you've got the Lord Alfred Hayes shirt. and tie and tux
beautiful.
thingy. It's just fucking.
We should have started the bit about the Grapple Clothing plug with promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Oh, right. Note.
Next time.
Yeah.
But then after that,
Actually,
it was the highlight video on the Coliseum videos where it was like
All the action.
and it was all yes.
Right,
and it
so
was
I'm just basically the rest of the day when I edit this together, I'm just snipping that in.
Yes, please, mate.
Right.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Right, let's get to the nuts and bolts of this. This is a pre-show review. So on Sunday, 27th of October, just mere days away, we're going to NCL.21, which is Scary Monsters and Super Creeps Part 2. I can't believe it's a year ago since we saw bloody Devlin and Robbie X. Remember that Spanish fly that they did off the top of the thing?
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
That was
Anyway.
the first night I ring announced for you.
Was it really?
It was indeed.
Just as...
Stevie Aaron.
Was that one? Are you sure? I think you dressed as the Greatest Showman.
I did during the pre-show.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Pre-show is non-canon.
So you're the Greatest Showman in the pre-show.
Great showman in the pre-show, and then Stevie Aaron in
Didn't
the
your
main
missus turn
show.
up as well? The same
She
sort of thing?
certainly did, yeah. She turned up in like a female version, which
Yeah.
looked far better than mine.
100%.
But that's fine. Not bothered anyway. Showing me up.
So first off, the big news is our champion, well, is he our champion or the champion? Spike Trevay got injured the day after our last show, and he's done some really bad damage to his arm, and he's currently in a cast.
Genuinely gutted because all the nonsense about like Spike being the Brit Breast Blue Bus Forward, he's this, he's that, he's the other. He's actually a phenomenal performer.
Yeah.
And what's been nice to see is how the industry has rallied around him.
Yeah.
When he got injured, like so many places still honouring bookings. Like he won the Riptide title
That was
via
mental.
Paul Robinson, and I loved watching that.
Yeah.
I've seen one of the BBC local news sites did a feature for him on Facebook about him as a wrestler. So, or was it Joe.co.uk?
Joe.co.uk,
My apologies,
yeah.
it was Joe.co.uk.
It's brilliant that as well.
It's
'cause
really
kind of-
good.
the best thing about it is actually it's lifted the curtain somewhat, and it's him
Yeah.
talking about it, but all of a sudden you see, oh shit, he is a bit like this.
Yeah.
This is genuinely coming from a real place, and I think when you see that, the kind of you see the authenticity in his character and why it's so fucking compelling. I think as a character, and actually, when after the last podcast, I obviously watched the show back and watched his match with Hoskins, and you just think. Not only is his character phenomenal, and I think we talked before we came on air about promos and how important they are, and in fact, actually, there's a bit of a dip. It's almost like a year ago, everyone was doing really good promos, or there was a lot floating about. There's been a real dip and a real dearth in like good promos recently. Spike's more than just a phenomenal promo. He's a really fucking good wrestler. Yeah, and he's a really fucking good wrestler. That match with Hoskins, probably, I think we were talking about the Mount Rushmore of British wrestling. Haskins, possibly on there. Possibly for me, I think he's one of the best wrestlers in Britain. And he went fucking toe-to-toe with him. That match was absolutely phenomenal. Really, really phenomenal. So it is a shame that we don't get to see him get his
I'm a
head
big
kicked
fan
in.
of his work, and I look forward to seeing him back
Yes, absolutely.
in full swing.
He will be at the show because he forced me to take the booking.
Oh,
But he's going to be
dastardly.
he's going to be the meet and greet in during the intermission. I'm really interested to see how that goes. I'm really interested
I'm
to
buying
see.
my photo. I'm having a photo with him.
I think I will. Yeah.
Yeah, let's all have a photo with him.
100%.
Yeah, you can.
So we'll see what the future holds for the title. I'm not one. I said he's only up for one show, so I'm not going to strip him of the title.
Yeah, we're not
but-
New Japan.
Yeah.
We're looking at
You're
you.
not going to force him into an arm wrestling match. Are you? It's not that cruel.
So last night as well, we announced the last match of the show to be announced, and I personally think this one is a fucking doozy. So as the man we've been talking about quite a lot, and we always talk quite a lot about, HT Drake versus Will Cruz.
My new favourite wrestler, Will Cruz.
I don't think you're alone in that as well. I think there's a lot of the North Faithful who bloody love Will Cruz, me being one of them. What do you reckon of this one?
This could be a show stealer. This.
I think so.
I mean, I don't know whereabouts you're thinking about putting it on the card, but
I can tell you that.
it's main event anyway, really, isn't it?
This is going to be first on the show. because they are both getting in their cars.
This is an exclusive. An exclusive!
It's very rare that I say that where things are going to appear on the card, maybe apart from the main event. But this one, these two guys are then going off and doing a double at Tidal. So they're getting in the car, driving 2 hours after probably beating the shit out of each other, and then going and they're both wrestling separately on the Tidal card.
Wow.
Drake's actually main event in that show against Sonna Durson. That'd be a good match.
Amazing.
I mean, this one will be better
though. But Will Cruz is phenomenal. Like he is. I coined the term because he's from Nottinghamshire, so he's from the East Midlands. So on the commentary, you may have heard me coin the term the East Midlands phenom. I do believe, like taking the word phenom away from its spooky connotations that wrestling gives it, he is a phenom. Like he has got the build of somebody who should in theory wrestle like Vader.
Yes.
But it's got the moveset of Taka Michinoku.
It's mental, isn't it?
Complete Michinoku driver.
Unreal.
I honestly, the upside with Will Cruz, I've seen him already start winning championships in the north of England and elsewhere. And I'm really excited for what will come with Will Cruz. I feel like I think there's still a bit of, there still needs to be like a streamline of the gimmick of him. I think he needs to still find a little bit of his voice. And I don't say that as a dig, because I love the bones off Will Cruz. And if you're on a show and there's a Will Cruz match on, you are a lucky fella, because you're in for a treat.
I mean, you got to bear in mind, Will has only been on two shows at North,
and the crowd are in love with him.
I think that's testament.
The North faithful love him.
Absolutely, like, and he hasn't really performed in the Northeast that much. I don't think. I don't know whether he was on Defiant. I'm not sure about that.
I think the furthest he's come up the country is probably Tidal and Rise.
Yeah, Tidal have definitely done a show in Newcastle.
Rise of
which he's been on.
There's currently Rise have been booking him as part of the BWR.
He's a big part of BWR.
Shenanigans there. So that was my first time seeing him, and it was a couple of days before we saw him for the first time at North, and I was like, "Wow, this guy!"
And he had a match against Screwface. His debut at North was against Screwface, and I'd seen bits and pieces, seen his music video. I hadn't seen a hell of a lot, but I'd seen enough to go, I definitely want to book this guy. And it was, I still don't know where it was in the match. I know we've talked about this before, but he popped his knee out during the match against Screwface, but like literally 4 minutes into the match. Not only did he continue the match to the end and manage to, get through a match with bloody Screwface, unfortunately lost, he ended up doing that flip that he does over the top rope, which is just, I've never seen a man of that size be able to pull that off and make it, not kill him.
I mean, if his rise keeps going for this time next year, we could be seeing he's off to bigger companies, because I think if the rate that he's going, I think we could be, like I say, seeing something. Him going to the big company.
The size of the fella, the fact that like you said, he hasn't really had a voice at North yet. He hasn't really. He's got one win in that last show in that match against LJ Cleary, Martina, and Visage. The way he looks, he's huge. He's a big guy. For some reason, he's just one of those guys who just connects with crowds, connects with people. The crowd just get what he's about.
And he's got a little bit of everything with his style. He's got striking, he's got technique, he's got high flying, like we said. He's got the big man, but he's got a little bit of everything that makes him stand out from just being a single person gimmick. Like, you know what I mean? Like style gimmick.
As a promoter, it's great to see. I mean, if you look at, like, say, other people are probably in his shoes in terms of crowd favourites who could be going for the belt. I mean, we've got TK Cooper, I would say, is up there. You got Prime. I know Alex Henry's only just come back, and we'll talk about him next. But is there anybody more well positioned than Will Cruz to just go stratospheric? I don't know. I don't think so.
I think the only thing I think he needs is just a little bit more. I think the only way I can describe it, I think he needs to find his voice a bit more. I feel like he needs, in some sort of parallel dimension type company, I think he needs a regal gimmick, like a Henry VIII style royal king gimmick, who just comes out with like a crown and a cape. I feel like he needs a cape.
I've seen him in other places though, where he's a fucking bastard. So I think he works up. I think he's from. So I think he's worked a lot more like South Yorkshire, North Midlands, I guess, that way. And I'm sure the first time I saw him, he was a bastard. Maybe that was in BWR, but people fucking hated him. So, I don't know, I think coming up against HT Drake, third match at North, he's only had one win, and that was in a multi-man match. I think it's gonna be really fucking difficult for him. I always say I think everyone needs a little bit of heartbreak in their life sometimes just to kind of come out the back end of it. Maybe that's what Will needs. Maybe he needs a bit of retribution, a bit of vitriol.
I feel like Drake as well is always spent the last year just trying to get back on the road.
Yeah,
if you see what I mean. Like I think if you look at the the long story, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps last year, was it?
Yeah.
Where HT Drake faced Chris Ridgway.
Yeah, let me double check.
Or was it the show after that?
Let me have a look.
I believe it was, and Drake just, he won't mind me saying.
So exactly a year ago, we had England's Hardest Men. They defeated Boris Kozlov and HT Drake.
Right, so I think it might be the month before.
And the Landed Gentry. Well, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't remember announcing Ridgeway. I don't remember being there for that
and
show.
I think
it
was. Nobody.
I wasn't there
NCL.21, nobody prayed for me. It was when we had Rory Coyle versus Liam Slater.
Yeah.
We had Chris Ridgway versus HT Drake.
And I feel like since then, Drake has struggled to get the motivation back. I feel like Ridgway give him such a shoe-in that it knocked his confidence a bit.
But I can tell you he's really, really fucking pissed off with me because HT Drake's never had a shot at the title. Personally, I'm not like massively happy with the way that he's doing business, but if he starts to get the wins, you never know. And I think this match for both of them is really going to put them on whoever wins it is going to really push him up a rung on the ladder. If Drake gets this win, and then hopefully he'll do it without using a belt or kicking someone in the balls or whatever he did, or hitting his girlfriend with a bottle. If he can win against Will Cruz straight up, I think it'll put him in a good light with a lot of people again. Whether he can do that or not at the minute,
Whether he wants to be in that good light is another question.
And whether his confidence will allow him to, as Tom was saying, I'm not really 100% sure. Either way, I think it's going to be an absolute fucking doozy. I can't wait to see these two.
What a first match at the start of the show, though.
So get down there early, get there at 4:30 because it's kicking. They need to get the fuck away immediately. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. So anyway, the second match we're going to talk about tonight was New Nation versus Landed Gentry. What does everyone reckon of this?
I loved the love that the Class Apart had at the last show when he returned. Mm-hmm. That was really nice. Excuse me, everybody. I've got a frog in my throat. The love that the North Faithful gave when Alex Henry came out.
It was mental.
I think even Alex was concerned. Will they remember?
And you got to remember as well, when he was here the last time, he played the bad guy. So he was, and he didn't like him. Nobody, because he was the shit stirring last voice of the near who would shit all over everyone, blah blah whatever. And then when he's returned, they're showing that genuine love and nice to see you back.
But even before he walked through the curtain, when you just heard the Class Apart, everybody lost their mind.
Everyone it was lovely. And you watch it back. There's one kid just going, "It's going to be him. It's going to be him." And then he goes. Fucking hell! He's back!
That's amazing. And he looks great.
He looks absolutely incredible.
Phenomenal.
And selfishly, I loved how I was able to watch his face when he reacted, because I'm the last person he saw before he got the curtain. Everyone else was out in the front. And I'd seen his face lit up when he realised everyone popped. So I selfishly get us.
My favourite.
No. So he heard the pop.
He heard the pop, and his face was just like, "They remember me."
That's excellent.
You know, that sort of face.
Cool.
I don't think he said it
that. I don't think he said it in that way. Class Apart. Oh, they fucking remember me.
Get in.
High five, Chop. Bye.
So the last time, actually no, I'm going to go back to a second because you should go and watch this on Pivot Chair. Just to kind of maybe coupled with that voice. My favourite thing is you can see how buzzing he is when he comes out. And obviously with Primate, his good friend by his side. As the music, Partway Drive song kicks in, he does a little hop. He's holding this bin. He's holding this bin, and he's like, fuck, you see, he's just jacked to shit. He's ready. He's like, he can't fucking wait. And he just goes, and he just does this little hop. He does a little bounce, and he fucking jumps in. So last time we saw him was the 11th of February, 2017. 2017. So that was NCL3. We're in this together when they it was New Nation versus the London Riots, which is Rob Lynch and name redacted. But that was the one where
Didn't he dive?
he did the dive off the
Off the balcony.
he did the dive off the balcony and got caught by one person.
That says all about how your standing is in the wrestling when you dive and no one's bothered to catch you.
Well, I said, well, he's already talked about that balcony again because I think Drake.
I know what you're going to say, yeah, because he said that in front of us, I fancy doing a moonsault off. I was like, no,
I was like, no bloody way. And also, I think because Drake's also did it. Remember the first Cannons Fly match when?
Oh, when he came off the top.
Yeah, and he came off the top. That was brilliant.
God, that was amazing.
Yeah. But the thing is, the big difference is, I think Alex Henry did it in front of about 90 people.
Oh, yes.
Steve Drake did it in front of about 250 people. So this match, I don't know how the hell this is going to go, to be honest.
When I saw this pop up on Facebook, because I think sometimes if I see you, you'll go, oh, this is what's happening at the next show. Sometimes I like being surprised, and when I saw this pop up, I was like, oh.
What the fuck?
Okay. Bowers, you okay? Hon, inbox me. Run us through the thought process behind Shreddy versus Mao.
Oh, you're going for the next one, Shreddy versus Mao. Okay, so Mao is one of those bookings that basically fell into my lap. So it was like, I'd never really heard of him. I'm not massive into Japan wrestling. I'm certainly not into DDT Pro. Like, I've seen all the gifts. I know that Jack the Jobber is once their 24/7 champion. I know that he won it off Joey Ryan. That's about it. That's all I know about DDT. However, I had a look at Mao and I think one of the matches I watched was him versus Jun Kasai, and it was like a fucking horrible hardcore match. And then all the other matches I've seen are these mad comedy tag matches. And I just thought, you know what, Shreddy? Have at it.
And he's a deathmatch star now, Shreddy, obviously, after the last one, isn't he?
Well, he's a deathmatch legend because he's had so many death matches now. And I think once you've had one, that's the moniker that you
then like king of the death match.
Get a trophy.
So I kind of thought after, to be fair to Shreddy, he put on one hell of a match up against Primate. Yeah. One hell of a match. And definitely he surprised me in what he could do. So I don't know. I think honestly, Shreddy's one of those people who just hasn't quite been pushed in a way, not pushed in the traditional wrestling sense, pushed in like, I've never seen him do a match like this. I'm really interested to see what's going to come up here because Mao is, he gets in these comedy matches, and comedy matches are quite difficult for your traditional wrestler to just get into. They can fuck with your head, and I think a lot of the time comedy gets used by some comedy wrestlers like Colt Cabana or Martina. It's exactly that, is to get into the fucking heads of their opponent. So for me, I'm quite happy to see Shreddy, a confused Shreddy.
Confused Shreddy is confused. Will Landed Gentry be a part of this?
I hope not. There's not much I can do to stop anyone at the minute. It's got a bit crazy, I feel. I think with going back to New Nation versus Landed Gentry, I'm like, as much as I just want to see New Nation beat the shit out of Landed Gentry, I can't help but think there's maybe two other people that they've colluded with that might get in the way. Whether we can stop it or not, like I said, this show's been so difficult to book. We're so threadbare. We're so thin on the ground in terms of bodies. Whether I can stop them or not, I don't know. So, unfortunately...
Well, me and Tommy are helping, so don't ask us that.
Exactly.
Chop's helping.
No.
You used to be head of security somewhere, didn't you?
It's the 305.
Absolutely.
Retired.
Absolutely returning. Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Do you guys know much about...
I don't, but I know you.
To be honest with you, apart from the DDT Pro Heavyweight Championship as won by my work colleague, Jack the Jobber, Mao is an enigma to me. But again, it's that whole idea of seeing Shreddy doing a very different type of match. Shreddy, I feel, in general, has had a real learning curve over the last 12 months, where like he's away from him as a villainous member of Hard Brexit, which is quality punnage, even though I hate the people involved. He's somebody who's who used social media incredibly well.
Yeah,
and he used social media like not many other people do, and it's put him in a position where like he's very well regarded and booked lots of places. And it comes back to a discussion that we had before we turned the mics on, the whole idea of, you know what, you are your own self-publicist a lot of time with wrestling, and
only you're going to get yourself out there.
Yeah, you've got to get yourself over when when you're not in the ring. It's
Just
down
before
to you.
I forget, do you know that Shreddy once jumped the barrier at a WWE show in Newcastle? I'm pretty sure dressed as like
A Power Ranger.
yeah,
I was there.
dressed as a green.
2013, it was
That was Shreddy?
the main event. Cause it took me nephew for the first ever show. It was New Age Outlaws versus The Shield.
That was Shreddy.
And then someone jumps in the ring at the end and got pounded.
Yeah, well, that was Shreddy.
That is amazing.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that was Shreddy.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. So are we hoping that someone's going to jump into the ring in this one as a Power
No,
Ranger?
the only other time anyone's ever jumped in the ring is that guy who dressed at NCL.21 last time. Was it NCL.21 last time?
Yes, it was.
Must
It was
have been.
fancy because it was something turned up dressed as John Myers.
And he jumped in the ring during Rampage and Screwface.
How do I know
Because
what it is?
John had taken a hit. He was down. This guy jumps in the ring. I remember speaking to Rampage about this at the time because I was again back in Gorilla watching
I
it.
do remember this,
And he jumped in the ring and started to count out Screwface.
Yeah.
And like Rampage just looked at him, and I think the guy just went, "Yeah, probably bag out."
No. I remember it was actually really sweet because I thought, do you know what? If anybody jumps in the ring, normally like you take your life in your own hands then because
Absolutely,
you are
yeah,
interfering.
yeah.
You basically you're better off jumping into a lion's den. A lion might have mercy, some wrestlers won't. But with that, I think Rampage. I remember watching Rampage, took stock of what was happening, looked around the crowd, saw this guy who wasn't like genuine. Don't jump in the ring.
Do not jump in the ring.
Don't jump in the ring. For the love of God, don't jump in the ring.
I can't confirm you won't get absolutely punched in the head.
Yeah, but this was a very unique case in a very... the guy got told off afterwards, don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
But the fact that Rampage saw what was happening and thought, I thought Rampage was going to brain him. This guy, this is it, he's off. But then Rampage, I think, just put his hand on his shoulder and went, it's all right, we got this.
That was it.
And then the guy rolled out of the ring.
I think in Rampage's voice, I think he went, "I think I've got this." Well, I spoke to Rampage after that, and I went, "I am so sorry that someone jumped in the ring." There, and he went, "No, it's fine, it's fine." Two things enter my mind: do I deal with this with comedy, or do I kick the fuck out of him? I was like, I'm so glad.
Glad you did the impression. I like that impression. Yeah.
Glad you did the former. That could have been. Yeah, but don't jump in the ring. For the love of God, don't jump in the ring. You're an idiot if you do, and everyone will kill you.
Going back to Shreddy though, we kind of went sidetracked about that. I think you were right.
Yeah, so Mao is going to be a very unique proposition for Shreddy.
I think so. And
I'm
I think
excited to see it.
The thing with Shreddy is going back to that thing where I think everyone just needs a little bit of heartbreak. Shreddy was out for like 4 or 5 shows obviously when he was causing problems and coming in and spoiling matches. He absolutely ruptured his bicep. It was horrible. It was like his bicep had turned like purpley black.
It looked horrible, didn't it?
So I think the fact that he was away from the ring and not being able to wrestle, I think you really see the mark of somebody or of a wrestler at that point. Some wrestlers don't come back after injuries and just go, I'm not really, I wasn't as hungry as I thought I was. Some wrestlers, it just fucking kills them when they're not in the ring. And Shreddy's one of them. And I got to say, that match with Primate, the second match, even the first match he had, but that second match he had with Primate last show, really did impress me with what he can do. And I still think he's got a long way to go, Shreddy. I still think he's got a lot to learn. I think he's got, certainly in the ring, but I think this is going to be a real fucking test. It could either bomb or it could be brilliant, but that's what wrestling's about. You've got to take those.
You'll come out your comfort zone now and again.
100%. Yeah. So we got another debut, and this is somebody that I've honestly been trying to book since probably that third show, Laura DiMatteo versus Spooky Susan herself.
Spooky Susan!
G. Adams. Now, we've talked about G. Adams quite a lot in the last podcast. I think, I've mentioned it online before. I honestly think she's been the Northeast Breakout Star of 2019.
Yeah, definitely.
I think again, still got a long way to go. She needs to keep grafting and doing what she's been doing to get here. However, she's won two titles.
Yes, she has.
Since our last show.
She
She won the BWR belt.
She had 2 belts.
Against Soraya Knight. Am I right?
I believe it was Soraya. Was it Soraya Knight to BWR?
Possibly. I'll double check. I'm going to go and do a double fact check on that.
Check it.
But she also won it at Breed Wrestling.
She won their women's championship as well at Breed. And it's just testament to the work she's put in. Like she's gone from 0 to 100 in 2019. and long may that remain. Laura DiMatteo has been around for a long while.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's a bit of a...
She's no relation to Roberto.
I mean, you can ask her if you want. She might kick you in the head.
Probably.
But she very much feels like a bit of a best-kept secret for a lot of wrestling. And I don't think that's fair. And that's not me being a dick. I just think more people should hear of her. I'm surprised that we haven't seen her, what we've... Like WWE have been seen to take work and hire people such as like Shayna Baszler and Killer Kelly in the past. Laura DiMatteo would be a really strong fit in that sort of mold to bring that sense of fury and realism to a division. Like Laura DiMatteo, there's quite a few people on most rosters of all genders, shapes, and sizes who DiMatteo could batter.
Yeah.
So it's good. I like we're putting Gia Adams up there with Laura DiMatteo. I do think that I know that North isn't really about like gender-based divisions, but if there was ever to go down that path, we've got a strong division of females.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the fact that we don't, because I think everybody should just muck in and fight everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I think this show's been, just as a quick booking point on this one, it's a shame that there's not more female representation on the show. OTT do have an all-women show on there. Progress are running their show. So I am caveating it, and I am coming up with excuses.
Gia Roxy Iron Man match. Iron Woman match.
Oh, that would be pretty sweet, wouldn't it?
I think, do you know what? And this is quite a bold statement. I think if this situation, i.e., like a busy weekend with talent, had presented itself, and Gia was probably maybe 6 months further down the road,
definitely,
I'd have said Gia in the main event.
Definitely,
I'd have put Gia and Spike at some point. Definitely. If not now, then at some point.
She's definitely at that point. And like I said, as a booker, as a promoter, one of the most important things is how wrestlers connect with fans. The next bit, well, probably the most important bit is the ability and the talent. If Gia keeps going as she's going and keeps sticking in, I can't stress it enough because I've seen this before in young wrestlers who plateau, who stop, who think they've got there. I just want to see that next bit. It was against Saraya Knight that she won it against, which is just incredible, really. Yeah. If you think of where she's come in 2019, the next bit for her is the hardest fucking part. She's done the good groundwork. She's won a couple of belts. The next bit is now to go out and prove herself.
Mountain, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's now to go, I can become X. She should be looking at getting on like Pro Wrestling Eve, and she should be making a big mark on that. She should be now looking to get out of England as well. She should be looking to get off the shores. But to do that, she has to be able to be, have all the strings to her bows. So I think with putting her in a match of Laura DiMatteo,
this would be one of them matches that she could use as a video.
A springboard. I think so, yeah. No, I think they might have come up against each other in Defiant. They might have, but I think she might have got squashed by Laura DiMatteo. I know that Gia did get squashed by Lizzie Styles in Defiant, and Defiant was very much like into the bear pit for Gia, and I think she came out stronger from it.
And Northeast talents were much squashed.
Yeah, I mean, we were always the stomping ground for that, which is totally fine. And I think a lot of Northeast talent went to Defiant and not struggled, but because you saw Connor and you saw Benji and you saw Rory win the world title. But the younger guys, like Gia, I'm really interested to see how she's come now 6 months down the line against someone like Laura DiMatteo, who's very more experienced, we'll say, but also really experienced in intergender stuff, Laura DiMatteo. So that's one of the flags that we like to fly is like, there are no gender barriers whatsoever, even though we are doing a gender-specific match at this point. But Laura is very much somebody who can fight any man, woman, bear, child, whatever. So yeah, I think this is it's going to be a big debut for Laura. I think she'll fit right into what we're about. I think the crowd are going to bloody love her as well. And if you have heard of Laura DiMatteo before, but you haven't been on a North show, hopefully that'll bring you in, because I think you're going to see in Gia Adams just somebody who's one of the next ones. One of the next ones coming up. 2020 is going to be a big, 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 big year for her. This might be just that thing that...
She's got a lot of XP, right? She's got a lot of XP. She's currently a Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
I think beating Laura DiMatteo and doing it the right way, she becomes a Venusaur.
That's it. That's exactly
I
it.
have no clue what you're talking about.
Pokemon, innit, mate? Pikachu comes to right back to you.
I don't like Pokemon, but I couldn't have found a better metaphor myself, so that works.
Squirtle becomes a Wartortle. I can't think of any more.
Talking about debuts, we've
Ekans
got...
becomes Arbok. Sorry, I'm done.
Talking about debuts, we got a 3-way tag match, which is competed by the Deadly Sins, who are New Zealand-based wrestlers who are living over here for a few years. They've won some titles, which I'm going to double check as well. I think they won the South Side tag belts very recently. They're going up against returning Lost Boys. I got really told off for not putting the Z on the end.
Oh, really? Are they precious about the Z?
Rufio wasn't happy with me, which is fine. You know, that's your name. I hate when people call me Andy. It's not my name. My name's Andrew.
Yeah, I get that.
And the Rock and Coal Express. Now, do you know anything about any of these guys?
Rock and Coal Express, I know have been around for not a massive amount of time. I saw them for the first time last year at 3CW. Paul went out for 3CW. And I know that Scotty Rock recently did a TED talk about wrestling and mental health.
I was gonna mention this. I think he did it in Newcastle. I think it was Newcastle Uni.
Really interesting guy. Has a lot to say. And Rock and Coal Express are one of those tag teams that I think have got a lot to offer. They just need a platform to be shown. Absolutely. And I genuinely think North is one of the best platforms they would have had so far.
Yeah,
the greatest respect to BWR.
Yeah, but BWR is their hometown. Yeah. So I think it's just like our guys, you know, when they go off to, say, Rory Coyle, when he first started getting booked at ICW, or I know ICW are much bigger than North, but say even when he went to TNT, or he went out of the area and got booked elsewhere, that's massive. It's huge. It gives you a different legitimacy. So, yeah, I think this is a huge stage for them, and I can tell they're really excited about it. Scotty's his TED Talk's really, really interesting, really cool. I think he's a frontman of a band as well. He seems like a super, super interesting guy. However, they're both together are just like energy. And I think, as I mentioned this on the last show with North being North, it's nice to like bring in other guys from the North and go, actually, yeah, we should be giving these guys a chance. We should be giving them a platform to show us what they can do. Because I do think the North faithful take on people as their own so quickly. If they like you, they will fucking like you forever and ever. If they don't like you, you got some trouble. Yeah. So yeah, I saw Cole Quinzel at a. I've never seen them both together, but I did see them both together. Saw them both together at an NGW Proving Grounds show in Beverly about a year and a half ago, and I kind of thought, yeah, that's fine. I saw them at British Wrestling Revolution BWR. I saw a video of them, and I was like, fucking hell, they've got loads better. They're really, really cool. So I'm very interested to see how these guys go up against our Lost Boys. Obviously, we know. What are your feelings of Lost Boys and Fraser Thomas and Rufio?
Oh, I love them. They are. I get the feeling that tag team was born with us.
Yeah, I think that.
I don't know whether that was something that they did previously, but I feel like they were tagged with us at North and they just clicked.
And they ran with it, didn't they?
And then they just ran with it, and now it's like, I remember when Fraser came to me and said, and now this is the Lost Boys.
Yeah. And I think it's something nice about that as well, because I think Fraser's found a home at North.
He's very much an adopted Jordan.
Yeah. I mean, because he's now the full-time announcer of Progress. He's a ring announcer of Fight Club Pro, but he's definitely a fan favourite at North. And I think Rufio's only wrestled once at North before, and twice now. Yeah, and I think people really took to him. I think anyone who's got a bit of energy, a bit of authenticity, North fans just go, yeah, we'll have you. Yeah, and Deadly Sins. Like I said, I don't know a hell of a lot about them, but I do know what I do know is over in New Zealand, SPW, and over at MCW, Melbourne Championship Wrestling, which is a huge deal. They're big deals. I honestly think they're going to be the ones where we'll come back when we do the post show and go, fuck no.
Can we book them again?
They were pretty good.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'm excited to see what they do.
That's Jordan Swinburne, Oz Res Gifts. He definitely pushes all of those from the Southern Hemisphere, and they come with a big stamp of approval from him.
We're going to
So.
say ticket price.
Big cost to big transport accommodation.
Well, now look, no offence, I'm not fucking booking anyone from New Zealand.
Imagine the exits for that. Jeez.
Next up, we've got another debut.
Oh, this is my one! I'm so excited. I am
Munny.
so excited.
Versus Connor. Now, Gene Munny, if you want to talk about breakout, literally, you know, when you see a wrestler go from like, oh yeah, Gene Munny, yeah, him, oh yeah, he's brilliant, yeah, really good, to, oh shit, we should have booked him months ago. Why didn't we book him months ago? We need to book him now. The past 2 months, he's everywhere.
Need to
I'm excited
confirm.
the first one.
Need to confirm. Sorry, Chop.
No, I'm excited. That's all I just want to say.
I love
I just
you.
can't wait to see.
Have you been contacted regarding his music yet?
I haven't.
Okay, I just want to make sure he wants Baker Street
I'm sure it will be.
because I'm practicing. I genuinely am practicing. Alexa, play Jerry Rafferty Baker Street. I'm practicing. Hang on,
Alexa.
This is live, folks.
Okay. So I'm trying to get the timing right. So I jump in so the crowd can sing. If you see what I mean.
Alexa, volume up.
So it's just making sure we get it right. So we go, his opponent making his North Wrestling debut, weighing whatever the weight. I've forgotten already. Gene Munny. So that's about there. That's what I'm thinking. Alexa, off. So I've genuinely the other day, Alex. I got upset, my good lady got upset because she came home and she was knocking on the door for ages and I wasn't answering, she couldn't find the keys. It's because I had that on, kept replaying the intro just to get the timing right because I am desperate to get the timing right.
there
Gene
you
Munny's
go.
entrance.
This is why you listen to the podcast. That is worth it just alone for that.
There you go. The detail, the level of detail that we
People
go
think
to.
I just rock up.
People think we just rock up.
Yeah.
We do. This takes a lot of time.
I've been thinking about this for weeks. Gene Munny, though, is like I've been blessed to be ringside for Gene Munny's work at Rise, and he's got into in the last 12 months. He's got into the best shape he's ever been in. He has been seen in more places than he's ever been in. The fact that he's gone from doing smaller shows with this fun time gimmick to knocking on the door of progress.
Yeah, well, he's in MPS, wasn't he? I think he progressed all right. I think he did well.
He naturally progressed, and it's the fact that he has done exactly what we say. Like, he's a self-publicist, and when you get him, he's a great booker. He's a great act as well. He's a great wrestler. He's a great
Did you see what he did
competitor.
at Attack? And this is my favourite thing, right? So for a wrestler, everyone says, if you're going to a show, even if you're not booked on it, you're just driving someone, bring yourself a bag with your gear in it because you never fucking know. That happened when TK came and Jørn Simmons, of all people, turned up in one of the cars and was like, yeah, I got nothing to do. I'm going to come and watch a show. And I was like, would you like to wrestle? So it works. However, Gene Munny has now gone the next bit. He went to Attack, is it Goosebumps? I think it's a regular, their yearly Halloween show, which looks phenomenal. He went to their show with not spare wrestling gear, with a prepared, not booked, Ned Flanders outfit.
That's next level. But you know what? They used it.
Well, of course you would.
You
Even
used
though it was a
it.
Halloween show he had, that you'd use him somehow.
Has he ever come out to ODB?
Who?
You know, the music. I've got your money.
No, because it's a Baker Street.
We're not all 45 though.
Don't ruin it.
Just, you know that song, no?
Yeah, I know that song. But
Come on.
Fighting out of Milton Keynes.
What do you think of
The
Connor?
damn dirty dog. Gene Munny.
Hey!
I'm gonna nail this on Sunday. Right, genuinely on Sunday, and I am a mark. I am a wrestling geek who is living this weird new life. When I announce Gene Munny, if I'll have my jacket on, but if I haven't, look at my arms. Guarantee I'll have goosebumps up my arm. Guarantee I'll have goosebumps up my arm right now.
That's my favourite thing is when I know that you're fanboying.
Yeah. when I'm announcing Gene Munny, I'm fanboying.
Lush.
I'm mashing up Baker Street and ODB.
No!
Yeah.
Don't mess with just play Baker Street.
I'm on Tom's side.
I swear to God, if you will call buggers at Baker Street, I'm quitting North.
Call me in event, me and Tom.
I'm quitting.
Bye-bye, match.
I'm quitting North and restarting Rad Pro. Quitting North, rebooting Rad Pro.
Wow. What do we think of Connor, speaking of Rad Pro?
He's all right.
Connor's coming out ODB.
Oh, shut up! I'm not playing ODB.
We did that gauntlet match last time and he absolutely smashed the shit out of 3 guys. I honestly, again, this is another one with Shreddy versus Mao. It's Connor versus G Munny. Really interested to see how our guys react. So in this one, I'm very interested to see how Connor reacts.
Connor's been going on. He could squash him in 30 seconds. He's that good.
He could.
So
I think
I've enjoyed the build of Connor Renshaw, the rise of this
He's a
cyborg.
destruction machine, man.
he really is he's the North version of Terminator.
Truly is.
I'm not really a Terminator fan.
I feel like we need to film. I feel like we need like a little short movie for him as he comes out with like.
I was complete Sarah Connor or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you proved at Question North your.
Don't bring that up again.
I'm pretty good at impressions. Like you hear my Rampage one when I know the person. I mean, I do know who Sasha Banks is, and now I've been inundated with gifs and people send me plenty of videos. I'm like, oh yeah, she does do that. Yeah,
mate, she wants to book him for North. No, you not heard?
Just don't tell her. I won't do it. Okay, so the last matchup we've got to talk about. Again, obviously, I'm looking forward to all of them, but this Screwface versus TK Cooper, round 2, the proper version this time, and it's a 2 out of 3 falls match requested by Screwface.
Nice.
Because he wants to beat him
He
twice.
doesn't have an excuse. Then does he? He says, I'll beat you twice now.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really interested to see how this one goes.
I'm glad that we're doing it because it was one of the matches on the docket for that show that I was really excited about.
Yep.
It never happened. I think it's Screwface, who is very much in the same sense as HC Drake, very much like a Geordie gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And TK Cooper, who's very much been adopted by the Northeast.
Yeah. Well, he's called the Daddy of North now, isn't he?
The Daddy of North.
Yeah. And then when he goes to other promotions, he calls himself the Daddy of the North. We know who he's talking about.
He's the Daddy of North.
Yeah.
We all know this show. But I'm excited. I think these two will have some amazing chemistry together. Cooper's just brilliant. Cooper, like when we first met him, it was great, and he was the part of England's Hardest Men, Too Hard, and he had the dungarees, and it was just a very interesting look. But he's serious up his game.
Very much so.
And,
I think he's another one he looks to have lost a bunch of weight, like got in really good shape, and just like become. I mean, he always was a really good wrestler, but it's that thing again of going up another notch. And that's how you can tell the good wrestlers if they're getting to a point. I mean, TK's had a couple of injuries as well, more serious than the one he had 2 shows ago. But since he came back from the big injury, he's just, again, gone another notch. Yeah. And I just think he should... How he's not everywhere, I find bizarre. And when he came to us and said, he hit his ankle when it was supposed to be Screwface versus him, I think it was Party Till You Puke. I had to say no. I was like, I can't... I don't want him to get properly injured for a kickoff. Yeah. He had a show the next day. I was like, if you're going to be okay for that show, just it's fine. I've got Jane Simmons, it's fine. Yeah. But also, I want to see them properly wrestle. I want to see them have a proper match. I want to see TK Cooper versus Screwface. It's actually Spike Trevay who tweeted before Party Till You Puke, sleeper match of the card. TK Cooper versus Screwface. He said this one's going to be.
Well, I know I said that before that the first match was going to be a show stealer, but
it's another one.
Just another one that could.
Yeah, I think this is another one that like. I think it'll bring the best out of Screwface as well. Yeah. I think he seems to be somebody that, weirdly enough, the crowd are starting. It's taken a long time. The crowd are starting to kind of go, actually, we really, really like you and rate you. As someone who's been around longer than most people, and I think anyone on that card, it has taken his time, certainly with the North crowd, to get to a point where they appreciate what he does. There is a percentage of the crowd who've always appreciated what he does, and I know the whole locker room and anyone who's ever worked on the show understand how good Screwface is as a wrestler. For some reason, never quite connected with the crowd. I can see that turning a little bit. So at the Progress pre-show that we did, I've never heard of a Screwface chant before. Well, it was bizarre. And I genuinely think this match for both of them, again, like HT Drake versus Will Cruz, like Laura DiMatteo versus Gia Adams, whoever wins this one is kind of up another level. They're going to go just slightly up. And I think, it's going to be a special one.
In that match, it'll put you in the main event picture of the title.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So that's it. That's what we've got for the show. We've also got a fancy dress competition.
We have indeed. So come in your best, fanciest dress costumes.
I don't think you realise how serious our lot are going to take this.
Oh, you realise.
That's why
It's
I
so
love the
serious.
North Faithful.
I don't even have to advertise it. I will be advertising.
People
after
just
this show.
assumed there will be, and there is.
And they're doing it not even for a competition. They're just doing it. There are
Halloween, innit?
2 people dressing up as Orange Cassidy, which I think's mental. But I've heard a couple of other things. It will be fun.
Have you got your outfit sorted, Chop?
Do we talk about? No.
You know what happened last time?
Spoilers.
I got in an outfit when I got dressed up as Vince McMahon. Bloody John.
John forgot to stay in his lane and give you a stunner.
It's ridiculous. It was Stone Cold John Myers, wasn't it?
Stone Cold John Myers.
Yeah.
It's the other side of John Myers that we try not to. It's the Keishan Liger of John Myers. Is Stone Cold John
Keishan
Myers.
Have you got your costume sorted, Tom?
I certainly have.
Oh.
I'm very excited.
Can you give a clue?
Okay, I'm going to give you a visual clue.
Oh my God.
Get closer to the mic and just do that.
That's my visual clue.
It's a weird wrestling game. I saw that, isn't it?
That is really.
What the fuck was he just doing?
So don't forget,
Put
you
my trousers back on. Hang on.
can subscribe.
Whoa.
I was
Are
going
you
to-
going to be dressing up?
Yeah.
I'm not
we wanna
actually.
know.
No, I'm not actually. this
Why?
show.
Oh, we think we should.
Do you want to know the real reason why?
I think we should put it out on Twitter. Should Bowers dress up for Sunday?
Does someone want to buy me a costume?
Andrew Bowers.
No, we're
pushing
not having
it
that
out
excuse
the
either.
way.
Well, this show got moved because it was supposed to be on the Saturday night. It got moved to the Sunday night. Actually, it was supposed to be the weekend before that. There's an MEW show that was this weekend gone. So this show.
Well done,
just
Mickey the Dragon.
This show just got pulled from pillar to post. It was then supposed to be a little bit later. It was supposed to be the start of November. It didn't happen. So then the only time we could do it was this Sunday. I'm going to Manchester the night before and going to see Forte.
Does that mean we should bring him a costume
We'll
ourselves?
sort your costume, mate.
I mean, you can do that. That's fine. Yeah, we could do it. Okay, let's do that. Let's put that out and say I will wear whatever costume comes my way, as long as it doesn't show off my balls or something or my ass.
What kind of costume?
I don't know. Sasha Banks costume, basically. Is what,
You pick a costume from 2K20, maybe. Someone just sent me a picture of WWE2K20 and how broken the game is.
What?
And the costumes are clipping out around everybody. It's
That is
beautiful.
wonderful.
Honestly, the game's so bad.
So don't forget, you can subscribe to North Wrestling on demand over at northwrestling.pivotshare.com for only $3.99 a month. Features past North shows and select shows from Joey Ryan's Bar Wrestling and White Wolf Wrestling. And what was that weird one? What was that weird one? Jeff Jarrett and Conan ran, and it ran in WWA, World Wrestling, all sorts.
Is that on there?
I've got a couple of shows on there. However, I keep forgetting to take them off because there's some really homophobic stuff in there. I need to take it off. Anyway.
Watch them now before they're gone.
So, okay, time capsule. We're going to look back.
That is a time capsule. Wow. I want to watch Jarrett and Conan.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I think it was. Do you remember?
Green people, eh? Whoa!
Do you remember Lenny and Lodi?
Oh, yes, the Rainbow Connection.
Yeah, and they were on that show. And I think it was mainly. I mean, they weren't presented in a very good way.
It was more the crowd.
The crowd weren't so great. But I think it was also the way they were booked. Anyway, let's not get into
Make
that.
it right and buy a Grapple Pride t-shirt.
There you go. Good shout. Grapple Pride.
Whilst watching it, yeah. Anyway, time capsule time. We're going to look back on just briefly at the card we had for our first ever show, NCL1. Brace yourself.
Oh, nice.
First match we ever had, and this popped up onto our timeline because there was a hashtag Damien Dunn Appreciation Day, which I was all behind because I think he's probably one of the most underrated, underappreciated wrestlers of all time.
Yeah, what I'm thinking before we go into
Yeah.
that, chat me up on this, Bowers.
I'll always chat you up.
Chat me up on this, Bowers. Your thoughts as the timer ticked down in the Riverside as you're about to do your first show. What was going through your head?
What the fuck have I done this for? Oh my God. I think we've talked about this before. 24 hours before that, Will Ospreay just pulled out. I was still trying to find a replacement. Didn't know whether many people were going to come. I think we only sold 40 tickets advance, but 160 people turned up, which was weird. We've never had a door sale like that before. It's fucking weird. Maybe back in 2016, nobody bought tickets. I don't know. Shit myself talking in front of, and we'll go through who I sat stood in front of with my
And did you do
girlfriend.
them pre-show speeches beforehand as well?
I typed it all out.
Because I always thought like you used to do them with the boys. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't
knew
until like
it.
a year into it, but you
always
started
did
it from the first
that.
show.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I did that from the first show. And I had Jade, my then girlfriend, now wife, on one side and Carl on the other, and me with a piece of paper with it written verbatim of what I was going to say to people. I missed out about 90% of it. 'Cause a lot of it was just like wanking off. You're so good. I was trying to do the Heyman speech from Beyond the Mat.
Tonight we get the chance. We will get
This
the
is the
chance
dance! You have arrived!
Fuck you, you're wrong. Fuck you, we're right.
That's exactly it. So imagine me with absolutely no wrestling experience, booking-wise, at all. First match, we had Damien Dunn versus Sweetheart of North, Liam Slater, who was actually really, really, really lovely. One of the guys who really helped me out.
Did
that
you
first
have him
show.
then as Slater, or was he?
He was Liam Lazarus, I think.
He was
yeah,
Liam Lazarus.
yeah.
Was he Lazarus? Was he the Lazarus?
Lazarus?
Vegabus
I know,
is
actually,
coming.
no. I think before that show, I think he got in touch with us and went, "Look, I'm not Liam Lazarus anymore. I'm Liam Slater." Yeah, but he did the. Well, I don't think he had a choice. Well, he came out to it because I don't think he had any other music. Right. And even if he had come out to anything else, everyone would have gone with it. I'm putting my fingers up in the air. That was the first chant, first ever North chant was kick him, kick him, kick him in the cunt.
Wow,
So really,
was it?
I honestly think that maybe set the tone of where we were going to go from now on.
Gee, I don't think we're going to do a family-friendly show now. Like,
Second match of that show was Baz Ban with Rory Coyle as his kind of manager versus Don Black. Now, Baz Ban and Rory Coyle came out and basically beat the shit out of Liam Slater with a chain. And Don Black came out to save him. And it was Baz Ban versus Don Black.
Baz Ban genuinely scared the living shit out of me.
Such a strange character, Baz Ban. He was only on six or seven shows, but he's definitely lives long in the memory of anyone who's ever seen Baz Ban live. Like, I don't think anyone ever forgets. I don't know what the fuck happened to him though.
Yeah, he just sort of disappeared into oblivion, didn't he? It seemed like.
Into a shallow grave, possibly.
Oh, quite possible.
Third match, which this one's ridiculous. I mean, they're all quite ridiculous. El Ligero versus Jack Gallagher. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Jack Gallagher being on your first. I think he signed, I think it was 2 weeks later, he was at WWE, and we were one of the last independent bookings. And that was literally just by pure luck of me going, do you want to wrestle? I heard you going to WWE. And he went, yeah. He turned up really late because he was walking around Newcastle.
I imagine he'd just be walking around with his brolly.
Yeah.
In
his suit. It was a lovely day as well. It was in July. Next match, Martin Kirby versus Pete Dunne.
I watched this recently, actually. Me and Matt sat down and watched this recently.
It's a very, very good match. It's shot very badly, but it's a very, very good match. Exclusive here, Martin Kirby is coming back to North.
What? Really?
Yeah,
oh, what a treat. Love Martin Kirby.
We were 1 day late of him coming back this show. I think he comes back on like Monday or Tuesday from Japan. Where he looks like he's absolutely smashed it.
He is having the time of his life.
He looks like he's absolutely smashed it. So yeah, I'll not say when, but he will be coming back. The next match, well, the second to last match was The Fuckers. Chris Brook and Tyler Bate. The Fuckers.
With a Z? Is it with a Z? Get that right.
So they came up to me and said, "Oh, we haven't really got a tag name. Can we use one?" Yeah, of course you can. We're not going to tell you until it's said. I was like, I can't tell whether you're trying to ruin my show or whether you're ribbing me. And it came out as
because it was your first show, you were just like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I said, whatever, it's fine.
Surprised they didn't get over in NXT UK, to be honest. Brooks and Tyler Bate as The Fuckers.
Brooks wasn't really known at all then. I hadn't heard of him at the time. I didn't know him at all.
I feel like Chris Brooks he's made a real name for himself as a solo guy, but it's almost under duress because I feel like every time CCK started to get going,
it's a shame.
There was injuries everywhere, and
Such a shame.
mainly to bless a kid like us,
Yeah.
who just my heart breaks when I think of Kid like us, how strong a performer Kid like us is, but just how many times he just fell
It's a real shame, that one. And we know it was such a shame that we never had him booked. I think it was twice we had him booked, and he got in, and his injuries came up. So that was rubbish. Yeah, we were supposed to have like literally at the peak of their career. I think it was NCL 6. It ended up being Baz Ban versus Rory Coyle, but we were supposed to have Sons of Ulaid versus CCK, which at that time as well, because both were just really hot, would have been fucking brilliant. So that's one of the ones that got away, unfortunately. But yeah, the Fuckers versus the New Nation. We only saw 3 matches of the New Nation because they were only on 3 shows, and now they're back.
There you go. History repeats itself. I believe. Did the New Nation do some stuff in Absolute as well?
They did.
Yeah.
We had them. They were just a destruction tag team, really. They went through absolutely everyone at Absolute.
They did.
Yeah. They were really,
Actually,
really
first, the show that I decided I was going to start North was an Absolute show at the Lynch in North Shields, and I remember it was a family-friendly show, and Carl, who's the man on the music, shouted something at Alex Henry because we were all very, very drunk. Alex Henry, at a family-friendly show, turned around. I'm not going to say what he said, but he said something really awful to Carl. So I booked him for the first show.
And this is the time where we didn't know whether we were like you said there before about NCL1, where he came out with the Fuckers. There was going to be an adult show. We didn't know whether we were going to be that, family or adult. We were kind of in the middle in the end because we would get times when people would go that way, and then
People would go a bit far.
But we still wanted the kids to buy all the gimmicks and shit, so we still.
Yeah, when I came in, I thought the proviso was Absolute was the family show and North was the adult show, and then Absolute started doing like kidnapping angles and hardcore matches. I was like,
that hardcore match between ended up being Connor under the mask and Jason Primate. Oh, it's disgusting.
Paper cuts.
It was
disgusting. Get some
disgusting.
paper and give your brother and sister a fucking paper cut.
It was disgusting.
grim.
Then going back to Brace Yourself, NCL1, first ever main event, HT Drake versus Liam Thompson.
As born out of the fact that Ospreay said no thank you.
Yeah, and
He did say no thank you, he just couldn't make it.
no, he didn't. And I think so that was excellent.
Who was your ring announcer that day?
A guy called Ian Gordon. He's a
Gordon.
comedian. He does a comedian called Fernando, is his comedy act. And me and my girlfriend, my wife, saw him on our first date in Edinburgh. So I'd kind of got to know him because he lived in North Shields. But it turned out that, he didn't fancy doing it full time.
Who replaced you that time on Absolute when you couldn't make it and we had to get some? Was that Ian? The same guy?
No, I think it's the only show he'd ever done.
No, there was somebody that you
Remember
got.
we were doing the tapings and you couldn't make it or something and we had to get someone else and he was a comedian.
Yeah, who did you get?
Who the hell was that again?
Did you not? You didn't get Carl Hutchinson, did you not? What him was it?
I'm shit with names.
I can't remember. It'll be on the Absolute YouTube, surely. But that was a time, that was, No, I couldn't remember the name of the guy who you had as the first announcer.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was pretty good, but looking back now, I think things worked out well. Don't worry.
It did all right.
So,
He's a little bit over the top at times.
I'm gonna make
Ian Gordon. The new guy's fine. He keeps it. Gene Munny!
Right, so now we're going to answer some of the Q&A, or some of the questions from the mailbag, should I say. First one I'm going to answer from Sean Barrett, and I'm going to let you guys answer this. We've talked about it a bit briefly already. Sean says, I know Sean's a season ticket holder, the first match always sets a tone for the night ahead, and North always does this really well. What do you think makes for a great opening match? Now, I've always struggled as a booker with making sure that we get that first match right. It's always really difficult, especially when logistics come into play, like they are for the next show, and people have got to be elsewhere, or you've got people driving and they all want to get off. Or, they might, especially in Newcastle, every drive is like 5-6 hours away. But ideally, I want something quick. I want something full of action. I want something with no rest holds. I don't want any bloody slow parts of the match. I don't want any brawling outside, really. I want it all in ring. I want it quick as fuck. I want high energy, and I want to get people up. And I guess the rest of the card is then spent kind of maintaining that kind of up and down and up and down.
I think, like you say, once you take the factors out of the way from if they don't have to go anywhere, we haven't got to be setting people off, and it's just basically the people that we've got, where do we put them in the card. I don't think comedy should be the first match.
No.
I think it should be, like you say, fast-paced. Yeah, like you say, it sets the tone for the rest of the court to try and keep up with that pace.
It is, yeah. I think
You agree, Tom?
I think as long as it goes ding ding and off we go.
See,
I don't want like a big grudge. I don't like saying that. I think that if you'd started the I think actually no, knowing the twist in the arrival of Alexander Henry, I wouldn't have said that. But if there wasn't, say Alexander Henry wasn't getting involved in the primate rules match for the last show, I would have started the show with something like that maybe.
Yeah,
so that would have been one.
I still think one of my favourite ones was NCL 8 I'm tapped when I first went, oh shit, I've really got to start. The first and the last matches fall quite flat, and that can really set the tone of a night when the first one falls flat. We did Team White Wolf against Deputy Dunn and Kip Sabian, and that was an opening match, and it was just mad.
I think sometimes as well,
it really worked
when
well.
you've got the interval coming, it's how would you send them off to the interval, and how would you bring them back from the interval to set them up? Because there's that 20-minute break you sometimes get.
So if you've got
can either deflate them, or they can get them ready for what's coming up next if it was a good match before. You know what I mean?
Exactly. If you've got 3 matches in the second half, and your fourth match or your last match in the first half has been brilliant, then going into the third, we're then thinking, right, well, we want to keep them up for the main event. Bear in mind, you've been standing up for 2.5 hours, and you've been drinking, so everyone's a bit slurry and tired or whatever. To then balance those 3 is actually really, really difficult. Your first one's got to get everyone up. Your middle one is then kind of got to kind of maintain it. Don't get everyone too excited, but keep everyone kind of going. Give them a little bit of enough to kind of, okay, we're still awake. But then the main event has to then have everyone up again. Now that's actually more so than the opening match. That's the hardest thing to do sometimes. Is just make sure it peaks at the end.
As well, when we came back from the second half of the last show, it was a comedy match, which I felt at that point they had been drinking quite a bit, and it kept them.
Club Tropicana and Landed Gentry. Fucking hell! I watched that match back, by the way, properly. That's Club Tropicana are fucking brilliant.
We have them back.
Yeah, 100%. We need them back. So hopefully we answered that question there. Got a question from Benjamin. Forwarding a question I get asked a lot from the Best North fans. Bowers, you coward. Where are the Landed Gentry's Tag Team Championships?
They've got plates. What more do they want?
Yeah, fuck off.
Buy some clean underpants.
Yeah, well, I think what this will go into as well is another question from Matthew Alderson. Have you ever considered a mid-card title? Straight off the bat, I'm going to say no. I don't think I ever have. It took us 9 shows to get a title, which was over a year and a half. No, personally, I don't. I don't think we need more titles. One of my main gripes in modern wrestling is too many fucking belts. Anyway, does my head in. Look at WWE. How many belts they got? Honestly, about 15.
I can't
16.
keep up with some companies and the amount of belts they got.
It just devalues all of them, though. That's the problem.
It thins the herd for each single belt that you have. If you have a division for each of them, North does not need a middle belt. If you think North needs a television championship, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You really are. You haven't got television for a start.
I think something that I would like to introduce, and this is something that we might look into 2020, and this is me just spitballing something I've thought about for a while. Is
Key to the City?
Something like
Key
that.
to the
A tournament type thing. I think I mentioned it, didn't I, on the last one?
I like the idea of like you almost have a show which is like a one-night tournament where there's a prize, be it like a title opportunity or like something that they carry for the
tag
year.
belts as well, yeah, possibly. Like, I can't buy 2 titles then, and I've got to design them. It's like a lot of work going on there, isn't it?
Money don't grow on trees. But I think another singles belt would make it make it pointless. It's just like, what are you thinking? No.
Yeah. I'll chuck these ones together. There's Chris Kinlock and Colin Barker. Chris Kinlock asked first, when are we getting a North Deathmatch Invitational? I just don't think that would work.
No,
We've never really been able to do death matches properly. We do intense hardcore matches, I would say, sometimes.
Put it this way, when you see him rise and you see the destruction it causes, they can get away with it there.
Yeah.
I don't see the Riverside. Well, probably not. I can't see the Riverside being very...
Nah.
Well, it was wrecking it completely.
We'd have to find a new venue to do something like that.
It's like swearing, right? It's like swearing. If you swear all the time...
The fuck you talking about?
Exactly, mate. You swear a lot.
I fucking don't.
Yes, you do. You swear a lot. And Bowers, you swear quite a bit.
I
don't swear very often.
You swear a lot when it comes to announcing, Tom.
I do, yeah, but
No, he doesn't a lot. No, he doesn't.
But not in the grand scheme of things.
No.
Like when we chat like this, like I don't swear very often.
No.
But if I was to now say
Whoa! Hey! Actually,
Timestamp that and
Right.
read that, because you can't have that. That's your gimmick, man.
Death match, right? If you have a death match tournament by the 11th match, in the death match tournament.
Black clouds coming out of that window now.
There you go.
What's going on?
This is it. If I said that all the time,
I'm fucking shocked, and no one cares. I've just said fucking.
the matter. You see exactly because I don't say it all the time.
Yeah.
If you have like a whole night of death matches,
Yes.
it's like the bar's gonna get higher and higher and higher. People are gonna get more and more passive.
Andrew, I feel dirty and silly.
That's it. So by the end of a deathmatch tournament, like these guys have just expended their bodies and just put themselves through like people who spend the night picking light tubes out of their skin for like a diminishing pop.
Yeah.
And that's and that's no disrespect if you're a promoter that puts on deathmatch tournaments. If you can do it and do it well, you can follow the pace, and then much respect to you, mad love to you. But it doesn't suit you.
Yeah, correct. I think the TNT DOA one, brilliant. And they bring in some mad people, and then you got CZW tournament and death and stuff like that. And it's just
But what makes North special is the fact that the variety. You've got all sorts of different.
I've always said every show that we book is a variety show.
Yeah.
And just as I was talking before about the flow of a show, that lends itself to variety. And I honestly think it's been difficult for us enough to kind of establish our crowd and get to the point where we have a decent sized crowd. I think if I then just chucked in something that was very monosyllabic in
What's a word?
in its booking, I think it would put people off. I don't think that's what we are. So thank you for the question though.
Go wash your mouth out, Tom.
Yeah, no, I'm shocked. So what the second part of that was Colin was saying, steel cage match, who would you put inside it?
For North, Primate.
Oh, yeah.
And usually, I was just going to say that because I tell you why, a cage match is usually so people can't escape.
Yeah?
Benji's the sort of person, if he was up against Primate, he'd be trying to escape out. But with a cage, he can't escape, so that would be perfect.
Gentry, Nation, Cage.
Exactly.
I like that.
With a roof on top.
Yeah. So we're making a mini Hell in a Cell.
Does anyone in the Newcastle or greater area have a blue old double cage that could get
Is
to
there
their
any
side?
sheet metal workers want to fucking build a steel cage, like?
So before...
the shipyard from off of the pass.
I had fucking loads of them. She was dad about.
Where's Sting?
Before the promotion, this is Jamie Paschalis. Before the promotion got given the name North, what other potential names are up for consideration? I'm going to tell you none, because North Wrestling was my Total Extreme Wrestling promotion name.
I thought he was going to sell his backyard wrestling company when he was back in school there for a second.
No, I don't think I ever had one. I know I ran some Yahoo groups. I ran some Yahoo clubs. One was called Old School Fedding, OSF. And here's one.
If you're spelling that wrong, it could be disaster.
This was in like
The police is going to have to check that history now, boy.
Very different clientele.
It's a very different time. I also had one that I ran with my mate in EFED called The Games. I was about 13, purely on the proviso that we could go, let the games begin. That was it. That was the whole concept.
With North, because even Matthew, who does commentary with me, gets confused.
He does it. He keeps going
This is
NCL.
North, NCL. And I have to get just call it North, mate. But it's,
The NCL, all right, just to clarify this, right? It's North, and it's stylized in capital letters, just like Pro Wrestling Noah is, okay? That's all. That's the only reason why. Nobody has to have real reasons in wrestling. Oh, yeah. Okay, it was nearly called Pro Wrestling North. What I decided. Yeah. This one with North Wrestling NCL. NCL is simply, it's not the abbreviations like WCW or ECW or WWE or anything like that. NCL is simply Newcastle. It's the name of the airport, NCL.
And he's very particular on this. Like, even when we're in a group message, if I write North normally because I'm doing it really fast, he says fucking capitals.
Now this is it.
For
This
the
got
love
me.
of God, capitalise it.
This got me in trouble the other day because Alex had messaged me saying we're doing something on Sunday, aren't we? And I said yes, it's North, and I always capitalise North. And she went, "There's no need to shout. I've just forgotten." I said, "No, that's just how I always distinctly write it." She thought I was being funny with her on Messenger. I was like, "No, it's just I'd forgotten." I said, "Yeah, whatever. Just calm down." So, no, that's how you spell it. Wow. True story. North's got you in trouble. Call this number.
North's got a lot of people in
You're
trouble.
affected by the issues in this programme.
North has got a lot of people in trouble. Anyway, I think that's going to be us for the day. I think that's us done. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Episode 2 of Indie Wrestling is Dead is Dunzo. You can find us at northwrestling.co.uk for merch and tickets to NCL.21, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. October 27th, which is this Sunday. Let's fucking hope I edit this quick enough to get out before then. You can also buy tickets you'll be able to buy tickets on Monday at 9 a.m. for NCL.22, I Don't Need Your Medicine, which is on December the 8th.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
What song's that from? Because you always get these titles from songs.
That's from a therapy song. So that's probably the first song which I'm not massive. Yeah, that came from a friend. That one, that was a request. So shout out to him.
I'm excited for NCL.37 Agadoo.
I mean, you know what? That's on the list. You can follow us on North Wrestling NCL on Facebook and YouTube. North_NCL on Twitter and Instagram. NorthWrestling.pivotshare.com to subscribe to our on-demand service. And you can email me for any correspondence at andrew@northwrestling.co.uk. Big thanks to Grapple Clothing and to you, the North Faithful. We're fucking out of here.
Alexa, please play ODB.
No. No.
Alexa, volume off.
Songs by Old Dirty Bastard.
Yes. Alexa, you filthy bitch.
Indie.
Dead.